On this week's episode of Nerds Talking the Podcast, we talk about reparations. That's right, it might be coming back. Should you get some? Are you eligible? We'll let you know. Also, Johnny is our subject. That's right, we talked to Johnny about his job as a police officer. In the jails, on the streets, on the beat, he lets us know. And finally, Carlos gives his review of Cocaine Bear. Should you see it? He'll let you know. All this and more on Nerds Talking the Podcast. Now start the show.
Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Yo! We talk about lightsabers, stunning your TV screens, what you want to stream, everything beyond your dreams. Want to talk about movies, sports, or even politics? Go ahead and tune into us, we'll give you all of it. Whatever you're debating, Xbox or PlayStation, Marvel or DC, Mac or PC. Teraflops when the movie drops, gigabytes, chips, RAM, no matter what it is, we got all of it. Welcome to the show.
Nerds Talking the Podcast.
Welcome to Nerds Talking the Podcast. I'm here with Laura, Johnny. I'm Lafayette. Carlos will be late today for our show, but today's a special show. Oh, yes, it is. It's the special show. It is the Grill Johnny show, or Ask Him Anything show, or what's the title? What's the title to this? Let's go with
it's an A.M.A. Ask me
AMA.
anything.
Yeah,
I texted that to you guys, and you're like, "What's an A.M.A.?" And I was like, "How do you not know what an A.M.A. is?" And
That's American Medical Association.
You're right. That's what I thought.
And somebody else Carlos suggested American Music Awards.
That's right. It's American Music Awards.
No,
That's right.
it's an
That's
Ask Me Anything. Clearly, you guys are not up on the Reddit lingo.
Oh,
Not at all. No.
so that's what the kids are saying now, huh?
The kids. It's always the
you
kids.
mean the
You notice
kids,
that?
as in like
Kids.
39 years old?
The
No,
kids.
I really wanted to do this, so I appreciate Johnny for agreeing. So
Did
listener,
you write stuff down?
oh, you bet, but you better believe I did. I have so many questions for Johnny because of what
Oh,
he does. He's a cop, and I don't know any cops, and so I have so many questions about being a
yeah.
cop and what it's really like, and then more about being a prison guard. Like, that's crazy. So I've got all kinds of questions.
Okay. All right. So we got that on the books. It's gonna be our main objective of the night.
Oh, I think this is going to take a while.
yes. And before we start that, did you guys know that San Francisco is doing reparations? Did you
I
guys hear
saw
about
some
that?
shit about
Is
that.
it? I wait. Is it like a test group? I think I heard something about
So it's
this.
going to be $5 million per person.
Are you? No way.
No. Hold on. There's a catch. Relax. Calm down there. It gets paid out over 50 years. So they get $97,000 a year. And they get a free house for $1.
Well, it's not a free house if it's $1.
That's free. That's free.
What
Especially in
the
San
ever loving?
Francisco, right?
It's only in
Yeah.
San Francisco because San Francisco is the home of guilt trips. It's the home of we feel bad.
It's not like the home. It's like the home of slavery or anything. That would be South Carolina.
No. That would be.
South Carolina was the #1 slave port.
Oh, well, that's the port.
Charleston.
Yeah, the port. Yeah.
So I would consider that the origin. It's
Yeah.
literally the origin point. So you're gonna have to tell me more about this,
I just did.
Lafayette.
I mean, I
So
don't-
that
I don't-
you've reported everything you knew.
No, it's a lump sum.
It is. It's no. It's not a lump
eligible-
sum.
No.
Uh-huh.
What? Something. I'm reading it right now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No. A lump sum is $5 million. That's what they're going to be paying.
They're
In
not
total,
spacing it
in
out.
total, they're basically only giving $5 million out. You mean?
Oh, only.
No. It says here, a committee of San Francisco has released the proposal of reparations that includes a one-time payment of $5 million to each eligible Black resident.
Wait. Okay,
And-
proposal.
Well, yes, but it's San Francisco. They're gonna pass that shit because they're super duper
don't think so.
duper.
I
liberal.
know that they're super duper liberal, but I
Yes.
don't think that they're going to pass this. And the reason why, twofold, is
Mhm,
that
mhm.
number one, I have read before that there is a lot of talk, even amongst like super duper liberals, who do you give this to? Like, how do you determine who that person?
So I could tell you right now. Are
Okay.
you ready? All right. So the residents of San Francisco must be 18 years or older, have been identified as Black or African American in public documents over the last 10 years, must meet 2 of 8 additional criteria,
Okay.
including having been born or migrating to the city between 1940 and 1996, when slavery was really, really rampant. Especially remember 94? Oh, shit. As well as showing proof of at least 13 years of residency in the city of San Francisco.
Why
Having been,
13? That's interesting.
now here's another thing. Having been incarcerated by the failed war on drugs, or being the direct descendant of someone who was, being a descendant or someone who was enslaved through U.S. Is it, how do they say that word? Is it chattel slavery?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how to say it,
but has to show that a descendant of theirs must have been a slave before the year of 1865.
that'd be difficult to do.
Yeah, and having been displaced between the years of 1945 and 1973, or being a descendant of someone who did, being part of a marginalized group who experienced lending discrimination in the city between 1937 and 1968.
How the fuck do you prove that?
Now, hold on. Or in a formerly redlined community within the city between 1968 and 2008, according to the committee plan.
That also, one I can understand.
And had to have hit 70 or more home runs as a San Francisco Giant. So only one man was collecting this money. And he happens to be Black. Barry Bonds.
I do not think
failed the drug test. No.
Well, I mean, he wasn't incarcerated for the drugs, so
that is true. You're right. He can still collect it.
I do not think this is going to pass. You can put it down. Laura's predicting Nostradamus. She's putting the envelope to her forehead.
Okay, so here's
not going to pass,
and it still keeps going. So the one-time lump sum payment of $5 million would compensate the affected population for the decades of harm done in blah, blah, blah. Okay, we all know about that. The committee also recommended that the city supplement the income of lower income households to match the area's median income for at least 250 years as a way to address the racial wealth gap in San Francisco. The area's median income was $97,000 last year. So there you go. So, another thing, Rhode Island is doing $10 million. But that's in total, though. In total, meaning
you can claim like a piece of the
pie. Yeah, you can claim the piece of the pie if you can prove that you were a descendant of slavery. But they're just doing a pie. Like, hey, we have $10 million for the pie. If you can prove it, come get it. So
I like that better. Definitely.
I think San Francisco has already made it so difficult, all the criteria. Now, you don't have to fall on 2 of the criteria, but so difficult that I don't think they're even worried. They're going to end up doling out like $25 million and they're done.
I feel like they're going to be spending more on police than anything for this whole reparation thing. Because you're going to have homeless people coming in, where's my reparations on this and that.
Oh, yeah.
We had a guy who came, he was at the county recorder's office. He was like, give me my land. Like, what are you talking about?
What is it? A goat and land? What was the?
No, it was 30 acres and a mule.
30 acres and a mule.
Yeah. You know what you should do? They should supply the mule and say, we're still looking into the land, sir. But it's primarily going to be in Alaska. Sorry.
So he came in and he wouldn't leave. They were like, you don't have any land. Like, I don't know what you're doing here. And he's like, and then he started claiming sovereign citizen rights, which is another thing.
Wow.
And then when he got to the jail, we were required to do a DNA swab because of his arrest history. And then he was like, no, you can't. That's my property. I'm like, oh, come on, man. No, come on.
Come on, man. Just open your fucking mouth. Let me get this fucking swab.
Yeah. So this is pre reparations. Could you just imagine? And that's just one selected like crazy person. San Francisco's got a ton of crazy people. So yeah, they're gonna need more police force.
I agree. I think California, I don't understand how they don't, you guys are going to spend yourself into oblivion. I don't, it doesn't make
Well,
any sense.
California itself has a proposal. California itself. So California's proposal is that they will put in up to $570 billion for every black person that lives in California that's a resident that can prove, of course, 50 different things, whatever it is, will get a lump sum of $360,000 per resident and could cost up to $640 billion.
Well, good luck, California.
Right? Well, it's like Newsom goes and plays the Powerball every week. We gotta pay for the shit.
This reminds me of when I would like play Monopoly.
Yeah.
And then I just would start like throwing, oh, you know what? I'll give you 10 pink bills here. Just let me stay the night. And then I'll give you a Jose Canseco.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were saying like you were playing and like one of your black friends were playing with you. I feel sorry, bro. Here's $20. Like what?
Well, you know what?
You get sorry, half your community chest.
I feel really bad for you. Here's Baltic Avenue.
And he looks back at you. You know, Asians were slaves too. Nah, man. We don't go that far.
You know what? I was just gonna bring that up. I feel like San Francisco, as liberal as they are, that's probably not the best city to bring that up, right? Because Asians kind of went through some shit too.
All the Chinese were slaves.
Building all this fucking railroad across the goddamn country.
No joke.
I wonder what we would get.
Nothing.
It's true. Asians, unfortunately, are so pushed aside. It really is. It's fucked up.
Complain though. That's the thing. Asians.
That's exactly
and it's
what
a cultural
thing. They don't
thing.
complain.
I'll be honest with you. If they said, as long as you can prove you're Asian, we'll give you 1 month of Netflix, I'd be like, all right.
I would too. I'd be digging back at my family tree. I'm sure there's one of them in there.
Yeah, just give me the credit.
Netflix.
Remember the Dave Chappelle skit when everybody got reparations? I don't know if you remember
that. Yeah. I'm rich, bitch.
They just spending money on everything. Cars, jewelry.
There was the one guy, I think his name was Tron, and he became the wealthiest person in the world because of a game of craps.
Yeah, that's right. He took everybody else's reparations. It is crazy. So I bring it up because I was at a Walmart recently, and outside were 3 people holding signs that said, "Pay us our reparations." And it said, "Force the government to pay us our reparations." And I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the thing that's going to start now. This is wild." Yeah. And I don't know how I feel about it because it's I don't know. It's difficult. None of us were around for that. None of us we were born unaware of that. You know what I mean? Like it's not something we were born into and so forth. Just about there's no one that was born into it. Like no one. So it's difficult.
Well, not into slavery, but into a disparate system.
Yes, so that's a whole different story, right? It's more of a system thing, right? People say systematic racism.
Yeah.
That is real. It's going to carry forever. Honestly, it's not going to go away. It is.
I agree.
Because once you're taught in school that your classmate basically was a slave, you're like, oh shit, and then I was like, oh no, this is. That's why they're trying to remember CRT.
Yep.
Don't teach that in school. Well, you have to teach history. You cannot not teach it. Like you gotta teach history. So it's just crazy, man. But there you go, reparations. Back on the board in California.
Yeah, I mean, good luck. It's I don't know, the great experiment. I mean, life is the great experiment.
That is true, though, right?
See what happens.
But I don't know. How would you feel though, in the sense of if you were like a poor anything, Mexican, white, anything at all. And like, how would you feel? Like, wait a second, my friend that whatever, my neighbor, whoever, he just got his $5 million. Wait, what do I get? Because we're in the same boat in life. What do I get?
Yeah, you're just a loser. The other one, is the victim of the systematic racism that is now being lifted up. But whereas anyone else, nope, you're just a loser. You just have to suffer.
That's the problem with this whole thing. There's people are, what if the rich guy, oh no, my family was slaves. Like, oh, do we give him the $5 million? He's already worth $30 million.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Like, do we give it to him or do we give it to another person that might need it more?
Yeah.
And also San Francisco, they have a homeless problem that they can't control. Is that more important? Like,
I
which one's
think
more
so.
important?
I
You
think
know.
way more important.
So there's a lot there. There's definitely a lot there. And stay woke, kids. Stay woke. Johnny, define woke. Go. Uh-huh.
Woke.
Yeah, woke. Define woke.
I don't know. I mean, the more syllables that you can identify, or letters,
Syllables.
letters, syllables, whatever that, then the more woke you are.
I like your definition best. The more words you know, you're more woke. You know too many words, sir. You're woke.
Do you know what this letter stands for? You woke as fuck.
You woke as fuck.
You ain't
bro.
slept in years. Congratulations.
I remember at work one time we were they sent out some, diversity communication, and we were all standing around and we're like LGBTQIA. I'm like, I don't know the A or the I. And then the guy that I work with, who's like, in his mid 40s, he's like, what does the Q stand for? And I'm like, queer. He goes, you can say that? He said, when I was in high school, that got you a detention. Now it's part of the letter people.
Right. Yeah, right. That's a thing too. If I was in high school, well, of course not. When I was in high school, same thing. I'd tell my friends, oh man, you queer. And it was like
It's like retard. It's
yeah,
something that you just say.
Yeah. And you just not just that too. It's a funny way to say, gay, right? Oh, you're queer, right? You're not gonna go, you're a gay, because that just sounds like
gay.
And the guy's like, oh, really? But now you're right. Now you can be like, hey man, you queer? Yeah, wait, what? I don't know how to take that anymore. You must be woke. I am woke. I know 7 words. You don't. So yeah, it's wild. The whole thing is wild. So we got reparations. The world's woke, and Russia met with China, and they talk about New World Order. So
Are we now a political podcast? I didn't know. I didn't get the memo.
People like politics, so we have to cover
Do
that
they?
in sports today. Yeah, so we're gonna cover sports too. You guys watch soccer? That's our coverage of soccer. Thank you. It sucks.
On to Johnny's A.M.A.
Well, that's next segment. Johnny, are you ready for your American Music Award? Did you get your speech ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Oh my God, he's in the Thank New edition.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
All right, we'll take a break
true.
here on Nerds Talking the podcast, and when we come back, Johnny will get his reparation. Hi there, this is Tom from the DPA. You're probably wondering what the DPA does. Well, when someone sends you a picture of someone's genitals, such as a man's, we analyze it. We can tell you exactly where it's from, what race, the height of said man, and the accuracy of the picture if it's from that individual. That's right, dick pic analysis. The DPA's been around for many years. We've tested the program over and over, even on our own dicks, and we guarantee that it works 8% of the time. That's right, the only DPA program that actually works 8% of the time. You might send us a dick, we look at the pic, and we think, could be. There's no real computers. It's just 3 guys in a room staring at dicks. We've had many years of experience, and we promise you that we'll get you an answer to what you want to know. Do you want to know if that person can cook? Do you want to know their occupation? Do you want to know how tall they are? If they're fat, skinny, and if they use OnlyFans? We'll know by just their picture, and we'll guarantee 8% accuracy. That's right, the DPA, Dick Pic Analysis. Go to our website at dickpicanalysis.com, upload your information and a picture, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. That's DPA, dickpicanalysis.com. Don't be scared, go ahead and share. The DPA is not responsible for lost photos that you may have sent us, and we accidentally forward them to our friends. We do share information. None of this stuff is secret. It all goes public. 8% accuracy is a little high, but we can at least tell you the color of the dick that you sent us. We'll even measure it to our own dicks. Usually they're bigger. Not our dicks, but the pictures. Dick pic analysis. Not a real thing. Nerds Talking the podcast. Back to the show. Welcome back to Nerds Talking the podcast. I'm here with Laura, Johnny. I'm Lafayette. Carlos still not here. We'll figure out why later. But it is here. The time has come. It is Johnny's A.M.A. You know who's listening to this? Joey Valentine. He loves Johnny so much. He's going to take all this information and do the same joke over and over about butt stuff. So, Johnny, you're the butt of the joke. So here we go. Laura is the Oprah of this. Oprah or who else? Oprah and Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters.
Yeah, Barbara Walters. Yeah. And
okay.
Here we go.
First question. Why did you become a cop?
It was a pretty smooth transition from being in the military. after 9/11, I re-enlisted. I did a couple more years in the military, and then I still wanted to serve, uh, but I just didn't want to do it in the military. In the military, your family. I mean, I was single at the time, but I saw a lot of my friends and their families would suffer. Their relationships would suffer. Kids don't see their dad
I
for like
mean,
a year and a half.
marriages just implode
Oh
from,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I had one guy, and he did this to himself. But when we got deployed, he gave a power of attorney to a stripper that he just got together with, and then he wondered why, like 2 months in, like his account was at zero and she wasn't picking up his calls. And this was back when
Oh,
it was
Jesus.
payphone stuff, so he's like putting in like 1,000 quarters to try and call her.
Oh, like in he's got like the prepaid phone
Yeah,
call, like a
exactly.
card trying to call her.
Yeah.
Okay, sub question. Why do men feel like they need to do this before they deploy? Why do they need to feel like they need to get married? It happens all the time. Why? What's the psychology there?
I think, well, at least the mindset that I was in was when I got deployed the second time, I had a girlfriend, and she was super sad that I was leaving, and it, she went through a lot of emotions. At first, she was like, "Well, fine, I guess if you need to do it for you." I'm like, "Bitch, all right, well, maybe for America." Uh, but it was one of those things to like one ease their burden because they're going to have to take care of things on their side. Um, and then
So, okay, I get that.
yeah, I think that for me that was mainly it, just to ease that burden, to make them feel better about something. And then um yeah, because I've seen also the situations where, say, somebody dies and then they didn't finish their paperwork correctly, and then money goes to the wrong place, or they can't get a death certificate because they weren't officially married, that type of thing. So it's all about trying to take care of your business
Now, do you
before you
think they
leave.
get married because of the if they don't get married, they're just gonna separate, because they're not. So it's almost like, okay, we're married now for both point of views. Now we're linked together, meaning you can't be fooling around. I'm over here, you're over there, but because we're married, that could be also
I don't
the
think anybody abides by that on either side.
well, no, but that could be the reason for, at the beginning, right?
Yeah, at
So
the beginning, I mean, it's all coming from a good place. It never ends up,
yeah, what ends up with strippers taking your money
I don't
every
know
time.
Well,
what
I
they're
think
doing with all that
maybe
money.
the idea is like, I don't know, you tell me, Johnny, but like if you're gonna get death, like you said, death benefits, like it might as
Hmm.
well go to somebody, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I don't know, I mean, but I wasn't one of the guys who got married right before deployment.
Good for
Just
you, Johnny.
yeah, I just couldn't pull that trigger with her. I could pull a trigger with her, but not like with with the proposal.
We're not talking about the Netflix Pornhub documentary. Stay what you're going with, Johnny.
Okay. Next question. I don't have a lot of experience with cops. The only experience that I have with cops are people who pull you over and the detectives I see on forensic files. What other jobs are there being a cop?
Uh, it ranges, right? I mean, there's the detectives that, let's say, it's not so glamorous. They're just investigating burglaries
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. That's not, nobody dies, nobody yeah, it's not TV worthy, but there are a lot of detectives who do that grunt work, that they're just general detectives, and so they deal with 10 different types of cases every day of the
Vice?
week.
Is that a term that I've heard on television before? You're a vice
it, it
detective? I
it
don't.
sure is a term that you've heard, but I've never heard it in our department.
Okay. All
For
right.
example, like the when we were watching the Murdaugh things, they were talking about sled, and I was like, I don't know what this sled stuff is, and I had to like look it up. It sounded really cool, but it's nothing.
What is it? What was SLED?
It's just an acronym for like the South Carolina law enforcement something.
Okay. Okay. So if you're not a detective, You're a beat cop. Again, that's another
Yeah, I mean,
term I've heard on
you're
television.
a patrol deputy. They, for our department, you can work in corrections. We have a
Okay.
lot of assignments. We are assigned to the airport here.
Mm,
We are assigned to the courthouses. Uh, what else do we have? The Delta, like Marine Patrol, that type of
that
thing.
sounds cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's it's seasonal, right?
Oh yeah.
In December, not so cool. Uh, Summertime, it's a very cool job. But uh, yeah, so our department in particular is pretty diverse. The police department, you can be a beat cop or you can be a detective. Those
Okay.
are your two options, really.
Are there people who just do paperwork? Like, is that a
Um,
job as a cop?
I guess it kind of depends. I mean, we have like, let's say, for example, transcription, where we can um, just basically on a recording. All right, suspect entered the building. Suspect took this. Uh, we saw the suspect. He had these items. We arrested him, took him to the jail. Then that gets transcribed by somebody else, and they put it onto into a report form. So, we have those people that just do that type of paperwork.
That's not
If
my
I
job.
give a homeless person a trespass notice from a business, then somebody has to file that into the system, that type of thing.
So at what point do you become either the man or a flatfoot?
I feel like,
Is that a reference to something? I don't get that.
I mean, the flatfoot, I think it refers to like the beat cops,
It
especially
is.
like
A flatfoot's a
in
beat cop.
the
Yeah.
And then who's the man?
Oh, Johnny's the man because they're
oh
all the man.
the pigs.
The pig.
In our department, like it would be like the guys in our like SWAT division.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
because
that's fancy.
they have that SWAT label. They do that crazy training, and they're also like detectives. They get called, they're on call and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily always a what do you call it, a SWAT situation where snipers are involved in hostages and things like that. But they do, they serve the warrants and all that. They For our department, we also other agencies will basically hire us to, let's say, do a prisoner escort from LA to Sacramento, that type of thing. So
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So did you, I guess, so as a cop, have you done like, you were the cop, you're like pulling people over and shit, I assume you've done that?
yeah, yeah, I've done that. I've worked at the courthouses and then the at the jail. So those are my three areas that I've done.
So we know, I know your stance on women crying because we had a whole episode of Impolite Society about it,
Mm-hmm.
and you had emphatic opinions that you sent an email to us about, which we never received because of the wrong email address. How did you feel when women would cry at a traffic stop? What emotional journey did you go on?
It kind of depended on the context, right? Because there are some people that cry for no reason. Like, hey, good morning. Oh my God, what happened? And so once they start off like that, it's like, oh my God, I just don't want to go through this whole like crying thing. And I've had one person, uh, it was literally like 10 minutes and she was like having a panic attack or whatever.
Oh, that's
I was like,
sad.
you know what? I'm gonna take the cuffs off. You're not free to
You didn't
go.
put the cuffs on? Why'd you put the cuffs on her?
She was detained. She was a suspect of a crime.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
But
yes.
I told her, if you run, I'm gonna catch you.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
fuck
tase
you
your
up. Yeah.
ass.
So I'm gonna uncuff you so you can calm down. I mean, I'm pretty compassionate to a point, right? Like
Sure.
one lady, she had warrants, so she had to go in. But she's like, I don't want to be handcuffed in front of my kids. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Get in the back of the car. We're gonna drive down the street, and I'm gonna handcuff you. But I got to search her before she goes in the back of my car, type of thing. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty compassionate for the most part. It gets a little unreasonable sometimes because if that same lady was like, I need to like feed my kids spaghetti before I go, I'm like, no, get the fuck in the car. So
But what about like just like a typical traffic stop, like a where it was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like because I've heard before that cops get mad at that, and they like it's an automatic like I'm giving you a ticket because I think you're trying to emotionally manipulate me.
Well, that, and have you ever just let somebody off because you're like, I just whatever. I don't want to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah, I've done that before. I had one guy I pulled over, and just the immediate attitude that he gave me, I was like, "Whoa, settle down, man. We're just talking." He's like, "Why'd you
Simmer
pull me
down,
over?
man.
There's no reason for it. Is it because I'm black?" I'm like, "Is that how we're starting our day?" I'm like, you don't have front license plate. Where are those? And he's like, "Oh." And then when I was like, "Sir," he's like, "It's actually doctor." I'm like, "Are we gonna do that too?" Or I mean, I'm not gonna make you call me deputy. Like, and in the end, it was just easier to let him go because my reason for pulling people over isn't to give them a ticket for the front license plate. I want to dig for some more. I want to criminals, they don't take care of their cars. They have headlights that are burnt out. They don't pay their registration and stuff like that. So once I see that, I have a reason to pull them over. Are
Got
you on
it.
probation or parole? Yes. Okay, well then step out the car. I'm going to search your car because that's a condition of your parole type of thing. So I was searching for more. This guy obviously didn't have anything else except for a hard time. So all right, just go ahead and get a front license plate. Have a good day. Take care, doctor.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
interesting because that was
But
one of
that,
my questions about like
yeah.
how you determine like when to get a warning because I get a lot of warnings because I speed a lot but people rarely give me a ticket, and so I guess okay, that's good to know.
Yes, but you didn't answer the question about the crying women that cry right away. Do you let them off the hook, or you just be like, "Shut up, woman"?
Well, I mean, you depends on the crying, and then depends on what side of the hand you want to use to straighten her out.
The front, the back. I hear you, brother. Karate chop. Use the
I mean, I
side,
feel like front would be. I mean, it's a little bit more padded. The back, you got some knuckles. You know,
or
I'd
just
recommend the
the
front.
quick slap in the back of the head, like just that's
Yum.
enough.
Yeah. The crying doesn't affect me too much, but like I said, it's going to be in context, right? If she's crying before like the investigation process starts, then I know that she's just over emotional. If she's crying
Okay.
because like I got to take her to jail, then it's a little bit different. I don't. It kind of depends on the crime too. For example, uh, arrested one girl who was writing bad checks. The check cashing place called us. She was in possession of the checks. We called the company, and they were like, "Yeah, we got our shit stolen like 2 weeks ago. She's going to jail." I can't.
No
Oh,
ifs, ands, or buts about
no
it.
warning about that. I mean, it's a felony. It is what it is.
How about the youngest person you've pulled over that,
All
I
right.
don't know, a teenager or
I w-
somebody that like freaked out, like, oh shit.
I'm gonna say this hypothetically, right?
Okay, that's
Okay.
fair enough.
Hypotheticals only.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, I
Mm-hmm.
was in a car with a guy,
Mm-hmm.
or we were on a call, and this my least favorite call is my kid won't go to school. I need you to talk to my kid.
Ah.
You gotta scare them straight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck
That's
that,
the best.
man.
Yeah. So after like the 20,
Who
30
does
minutes of
that?
talking to the kid, she finally agrees to go to school and the mom's going to take her. And then on the way out, this kid, he must have been like 15. He's like, "Fuck the police." And my partner, he was driving and he was like, "Get him." So we pull in front of him and then like he handcuffs
Hypothetically.
him and
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
hypothetically. And then we call his mom and like she comes down and scolds him or whatever. But the reasoning was he was impeding an investigation because like when we pulled him over, he was like, "Oh, it's freedom of speech." We're like, "All right, we'll turn around and put these handcuffs on and have a seat in the back
Will
of my car. Yeah,
determine.
tell me about your freedom." But so that was the justification for pulling him over. In
Gotcha.
reality,
Racism.
hypothetically, it might have just been because the dude was being an asshole. But he was like 15, 16. And he got in trouble with his mommy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
All right.
I totally understand why anybody would do that. It's like you can't be that blatantly disrespectful to people and expect nothing to happen.
Yeah, I
Next
mean, there's a
question. What do we
law with that
got?
too. Like, I can't go in front of you and just call you all sorts of names without expecting a reaction. So, like, if you were to punch me in the face, even though like you swung first, then no crime on you because I'm the one who instigated it. So,
Mm-hmm. It's like a law show.
I
Nice.
feel
Like
like
learning. We're
I feel
learning.
I
like
love learning.
there are many times where I could have punched Lafayette,
Oh yeah.
and
So
I would
many
have,
times.
yeah, so
But
many times.
I don't know how unless your arm reaches 350 miles long.
I will see
Yeah.
you again, sir.
You will never see me. Laura, your next question.
So we've established you hate homeless people. Is it because you were a cop? Who hurt you, Johnny? Tell us what happened. Why? Why do you hate the homeless?
Why?
Let me ask you a question.
Because it's human
Do you
nature.
love poopy diapers?
I mean, it's just kind of a fact of life. I
It just
accept
happens,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. When you're on the streets and you have to search the homeless people, that part is a little cringy because it's not like you don't get that spring fresh, downy smell. The pants are crusty because they're
Do you
pissing and
have to
shitting
put your
themselves.
hands like in their pants or like just pockets? Like what's the protocol?
I mean, you have to search for weapons, right? Search for weapons or contraband. So whatever that takes. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna like feel his balls or anything like that, but the hand has to go up there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Like there are some homeless people. I mean, I've helped out homeless people before. I've given them like an extra shirt or something like that. I've given them money out of my pockets, but it's the ones that like I don't know will make excuses for everything. Well, I don't have a home, but so that's why I'm like parked here with
I
all my
shit
shit.
myself.
Yeah, that's why all my stuff is in front of this business, and no one can go in or out. That type of thing. It just bugs me sometimes.
What is the protocol for a homeless person that is clearly fucking insane, but has not like actually threatened to hurt anybody? I mean, like, what are we supposed to do with these people as a society? You know, like you can't commit them because they're not a danger to themselves or others. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do with these people?
The quick answer is to give them a trespass notice, tell them they can't come back to wherever it is that you called them out on. It's tough because it's not always a mental thing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're self-medicating with meth or alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a combination of things. So you once you deal with one thing, let's say you take them to what do you call it, a sobering clinic. They can sober up there and that's fine, but then they're still crazy. So then you have to transport them
Yeah.
to. It's just a back and forth, and there's no great answer for that. I mean, because some people like homeless people don't want to be helped. They don't want to pay rent. They don't want to pay taxes, so they live on the streets. Some people are fucking assholes, and they burned every bridge that they've ever come across, and no one wants to help them anymore. So
I
that
know people like that. Yeah.
that's part of it too. So um, yeah, it's just tough, and the things that they do sometimes are kind of unforgivable.
What like what? What did they do to you? Who hurt you? I'm asking. Hypothetically,
nobody
I don't know.
nobody hurt me. It's just when when I call, like, if a homeless person has a lot of uh, experience in our department or a lot of records of arrest, they'll have sometimes they'll have contact numbers. So I'll call the contact numbers and be like, all right, hey, this is you're his brother, right? He's like, fuck that dude. That motherfucker like stole my car. Is like a Tyrone Biggins on the Dave Chappelle show. He's like, you know, just burned so many damn bridges uh, that they just can't be helped anymore. Like, why are we required to help this person who can't and doesn't want to help themselves?
Yeah.
So there's no great solution. I mean, it's a case by case basis. because I know of some homeless people that have, like, say, gone to prison, gotten an education, they're certified welders, and they have a decent career now. I've seen that happen. It just doesn't happen that often.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Next question. Homeless.
Okay. So when I'm watching TV,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of fucking crooked cops on television.
Okay.
How many crooked cops do you think that there are? And really, like, is there as many as TV makes you think, or is it like, pretty rare?
What's the level of crookedness we're
Yeah,
talking?
I mean, that's a great question too. Like, what constitutes to you a crooked cop?
Um, I mean, in my department, we've had our fair share.
Okay.
Uh, and then I would say that's a case by case thing too. One guy was sleeping with an inmate. He, like,
Ugh.
showed up on his day off and, like, you know, wanted to holler at his girl, and everyone was like, "What the hell is going on?" Like, he's, "Oh yeah, let me talk to Smith," and they're like, "Sure," because this is a deputy. Maybe it's work related or something like that.
Maybe it's work related.
But then it's like, like, long story short, that guy got fired. But I feel
Good.
like that guy was a socially awkward person, and he got a little attention from a female, and then that was it. I've had in our department, we've had females hooking up with other females. I mean, it happens. I mean, you just got to get past the mustache and maybe they like that. I don't know.
Well, that's not really a crooked cop. We're talking about TV crooked. We're
Ah,
talking
no,
about
I think that still definitely counts as crooked.
I'm talking about planning drugs and not turning somebody in because they paid you off, or having
That's
the
another level
governor
of
on
crooked.
payroll because he's doing dirty shit and Batman
Well,
can't figure it out. So he needs help
I
with
mean,
the
I
Riddler.
guess the bigger the department, the more chances for corruption. I mean, it definitely happens in the smaller departments, but the ones that I've seen that are crooked, maybe like stealing from the inmates, maybe they're taking their drug money type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or what was the other one? There was a not for our department, in a neighboring department, he would pull over prostitutes, like take them, like, down the road, rape them, and then, like, move on with his day. And then the prostitute comes in and, like, complains, like, "Hey, I was raped." Okay, prostitute. It took a while for
Ugh,
for them to catch him, but
that's
eventually, I want to
heartbreaking.
say it was like 20 plus women that he, like, or prostitutes that he raped.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's terrible. But I feel like now society, especially with all the cameras around, they're just cracking down. I mean, the George Floyd thing is a prime example. Like, the surrounding officers didn't step in and take the guy off of George Floyd. They're all in jail now too. So
Yeah.
uh, you definitely don't want to be that guy, especially if you're not a crooked cop. You don't want to go to jail, especially for someone else's mistake. So uh, I feel like I don't know. For me personally, like, I'm gonna step in if you're gonna put my, like, life and my job at risk. Fuck you. Like, you can go down
Hey,
with
was the prostitute cop, was he a dirty cop or a crooked cop?
Both.
well,
Hey,
it just kind
Both.
of, it depends on the time of the night.
that
You
is
gotta,
true.
yeah,
And I wouldn't know if he's crooked unless he showed me his junk.
right.
So,
But
mhm.
but I heard he wasn't great. Like, some of the
Wait,
prostitutes were like,
You're like, this rape was
this
subpar.
rape was so bad. I'm not even going to complain about rape. I'm going to complain about boredom.
And you got to think too, like, they're technically experts, right? Because they have more knowledge than the common person in the sexual acts, and they were like, "Oh, that's it? You're terrible.
That's all you got?
The
Mm.
worst
Fuck
rape
you.
I've ever had."
And sadly,
The
they
worst
probably
rape
has
I ever
so
had. Wow.
many. Oh, that's so
No, but
sad.
as far as like the accountability and stuff, like, one guy who was, he didn't even sleep with the inmate, but he was, like, hooking up. He would, like, made out with her a couple times. Well, he told his partner, and his partner was like, "Okay, well, because he thought they were friends." He was like, "You're gonna go tell the sergeant right now, or I am." He's like, well,
Good
I
for
just
him.
all right. You know what? Why don't you watch the floor while I go downstairs for some water? And then fucking told on him right there. He's like, you're not gonna get me like
Good
caught
for
up in all
him.
this shit.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. That makes me feel a little bit better. People telling on each other.
yeah.
Wait, you like snitches?
I mean, when it comes to cops,
Oh
yeah.
man. Oh
No,
man.
I would have
Takashi
to.
six
I
nine.
would have to
Oh,
PC up, which means you got to go in protective custody because I'm a
that's right.
snitch. I tell everybody everything.
Good.
Damn it. Damn it.
When you have like a higher level of responsibility, you need to be a snitch. But like, in your everyday life, no,
Just making out
snitches
with
get
an inmate.
stitches. But
Oh.
I
Was it through the
mean,
bars?
no,
Okay.
he has keys. He opened the door.
Yeah, he has freedom in the cells.
no, it's fucked up because like, I mean, how much consent can you get in that
Right.
scenario?
There's no consent when it comes to
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, he deserves to get fired. There was a situation where I was telling you about the females hooking up with other females.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, it came to light, and then basically they said you need to resign or you're getting fired, and we're gonna like it's gonna be on the news. And then they were like, okay, fine, we resign. And they both like went out for a drink afterwards, and they said that like I'm this is all secondhand story because I'm talking to the guy who used to be friends with them, and they said that they turned on the TV and both of their faces were on the news.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and one of the girls had, I feel like she was an emotional wreck. She's probably like the crier, but like she just got up and ran away.
Well,
Right?
I don't blame
Like
her. I
they were
probably would
having
too.
drinks and she got up and ran away. And he said that he saw her like at a Target or something years later. Oh, hey, Jones. Like she just ran away. Like,
I don't blame her.
yeah, I get it, but
Shame.
it's just
Shame.
yeah. So he threw a cabbage at her. Um, yeah. So next question.
um, this is how Barbara Walter goes. I'm gonna look at my notes. What do you think when someone says that they don't trust cops? Because I'm in that boat. I trust you because I like you,
Mm-hmm.
but what do you think? Because I'm not saying like people who are like, fuck the cops, I hate all cops, but
Mm-hmm.
people who say, I don't trust cops. What do you think when somebody says that?
Well, I mean, it's not the best profession in that, like every time you go out to a call, you're trying to fix a problem. There's potential for arrest. You pull somebody
Mm-hmm.
over, you might be writing a ticket, something like that. Instantly, you're the bad guy. If you're a firefighter, like you're a hero every time you go out. So, pick the wrong profession. Um, when I come across those people that don't trust cops, I try and have a conversation with them. Well, why? Why don't you trust cops? And depending on their answers, sometimes it's like fuck them, fuck all the pigs and this and that. All right, well, obviously I'm not going to change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But for the ones that will say, well, they didn't read me my rights. Well, tell me your situation, and I'll see if they needed to read you your rights. If you weren't detained and they weren't interrogating you, they don't have to read you your rights. Oh, okay. Well, I just try and be respectful to the point where I don't have to be respectful anymore. If it comes down to it and they get in my face, then other measures need to be taken.
Yeah.
So, it's just a matter of a conversation. I remember I was at a laundromat one time, and I was talking to this little kid. He must have been 5 or 6 years old, and I had my army shirt on. And he's like, "Oh, you in the army?" I was like, "Yeah, I was in the army, but now I'm a cop." He's like, "Oh, I don't like cops." And I had no doubt that like one of his family members was arrested at one point, or probably in jail right now, type of thing. Um, I just tried to be the coolest person that I could to him, and then maybe that would change his mind. But you just never know. I mean, if you're stuck in that environment, you might not ever like cops again.
Yeah.
So
Well, poll around the horn. Who likes cops slash trust cops?
I mean,
Lafayette,
no, I
Carlos.
never had a problem with cops. I always can't hear Carlos at all. Um, but he's trying his best.
No, not at all. My neighbor across the street when we were growing up in Canada was a cop. Good guy. I have three friends that are CHP officers. I had a friend that was DEA. Unfortunately, he passed away. Johnny is a sheriff, and a friend of mine I play soccer with, he's also sheriff. I've got no problem with
All
the
right. Well,
police.
then I'm in the minority over here.
Well, I mean, what's it stemming from? Like TV stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Why don't you
no
like
I
cops?
personal experiences, right?
Is it
Besides,
would you grow up
It's not
listening to
because of your
NWA on
skin
repeat?
color. That's for sure.
Lily White, that's for sure. No, it just like this overall. I think it's probably a problem with authority. Like I don't know. It's this thing of like, every time I get pulled over, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm at your mercy. And like, sure, I did something wrong. I'm sure I was speeding, but like, it's just like forever, like you said, you're always, when you pull somebody over, when you're having an interaction with a cop, it's always like, I've done something wrong. So there's this immediate thing. And then the other, like the only like real experience I've had with a cop other than being pulled over and then some like stuff as a teenager, we were, drinking in like a freaking abandoned parking lot or something. And then some cops showed up and scared the shit out of us, And I was like, yeah. They took our ID and I'm like, fuck, is this going to go back to my parents? All that stupid shit. But then I guess I was early college or late high school. I live with my parents and my brother like basically OD'd and they had to call, an ambulance and the cops show up and they're trying to, do whatever they need to do. And one of the cops was talking to me. And at first I thought he was flirting with me. I was like, what is going on here? And then
Women.
he's like, hey, let's go in the other room. Let's have a conversation. And I'm like, okay. And we go in the room and he's like, so, you and your brother, do you guys like, hang out, party together? And I'm like, after a few minutes, I'm like, you're not interrogating me, but you're digging for information. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea how wrong you had this situation. I fucking hate this guy. I want nothing to do with my brother. And you are looking in the wrong spot. And it was just this whole thing of like, I didn't realize what was happening at first. And that really put me off. And I know that that's normal and probably the right thing to do. Like you said, he's digging, he's looking, but I'm just like, you are looking in the wrong place, sir. And it just cheesed me off, I guess, that he thought that I was a slum like my brother.
no, and that I get that because it's hard not to take it personal, right? Where, but then you also don't want to be that cop who goes into a situation, be like, hey, we found the body over here. Like, how come you didn't? How come you didn't tell us about it before? Well, you didn't ask. Like, you don't want to be that guy who just didn't ask that question. I mean, I can't speak on him because I know a lot of asshole cops. So we'll talk down on people and things like that. It just, I'm not a fan of it. But as long as they're not breaking the law or like being downright like disrespectful to the point where people can get in trouble, then yeah, be a little bit of an asshole. It happens. That's just part of life. I had a good friend growing up in high school, and we're still friends now, but we had a conversation one time where she was saying that her friend got pulled over, and her friend is a nurse or maybe a doctor or something, works at a hospital, so she was wearing a lab coat and she was like shivering, and then the cop was like interrogating her like, hey, you're shivering, what's going on, are you on something, like, and like he was trying to like see if she was under the influence.
40 fucking degrees outside.
Yeah, well, I mean
Right.
it I was trying to argue the possibilities, and my friend was like, well, she's this and she's a doctor, she wouldn't do that, and it's like, well,
He doesn't know that.
yeah, he doesn't know that. And you've never heard of a doctor like writing prescriptions for himself. It happens. So like after that conversation we just weren't as close. And I get it. It's her friend's experience, it's not even her own experience, but uh you know there's three sides to the story, right? Like the left and the right, and then somewhere down the middle. She obviously sided with her friend, which is fine. But I will say, like being pulled over by CHP, it's like that's their job. Like they're trying to, you know, write tickets and pull people over for DUIs and stuff. I actually got a ticket like 2 weeks ago, or 2 months ago, let's say.
You get a ticket? I thought cops always like other cops off.
Aren't your
So
plates unregistered?
no, I haven't done that yet.
Oh.
But I got pulled over, and recently there was like a Facebook news thing where uh, I think it was a police chief in Florida or something like that. She got pulled over. Yeah, the golf cart. She was like flashed her badge, and I was like, well, shit, I don't want to end up on like Facebook news. So I didn't say anything. He's like, I pulled you over because you were speeding. I was like, okay, I did everything right. I had the lights on, my hands were on the steering wheel, gave him my ID.
I always
And
do that.
then
Hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah. So he like takes my ID and he goes back, and I was like, well, I should have just said there was a gun in the car and I'm off duty. When he comes back, I'll tell him. And then he was back there for quite a bit. I was like, fuck, he's writing. I know he's writing shit.
That's all. That's another reason why I fucking hate the cops. You're back there like, what is he fucking doing back there? Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck? Why does it take so long? Just give me the fucking ticket if and let me go.
And they always like show up to the window that you're not expecting to.
Just scare you. Good.
Why are you scared? So like he wrote me a ticket for not changing my license, the address on my license. So it was a fix-it ticket. And then I was like, yeah, sorry about that. I get a little heavy-handed after, training. And he's like, wait, what? You work for in the police department? I'm like, yeah, I work for this department. And he's like, you should be more liberal with that. I was like, I know. I usually am. I've been pulled over probably about a dozen times since I became a cop, and I've never gotten a ticket before, but he just gave me a fix-it ticket. And then yeah, that was it. I actually went to go fix or pay for the fix-it ticket. It's like $25, but the clerk behind the counter who's like, oh, well, you need that printout from DMV to say that this is your new address. I'm like, oh, is there anything else we can do? Like, can I give you my SMUD bill or whatever, or my utility bill? And he's like, no, you can go see the judge tonight. We can make an appointment for that, and then you can argue your case. I was like, well, on the back here it says that a peace officer can sign it. Can I sign my own fix-it ticket? And he's like, well, you're a cop. He's like, so he went back and talked to his supervisor, and apparently I can write my own fix-it tickets. So I'm tinting all my windows black.
Maybe from now on, when you get pulled over, maybe you start with, oh, sorry, man, I'm tired. I just got off duty. Maybe then they'll go, oh, wait, are you a cop?
No, usually what I'll say is there's a weapon in the car. I'm off duty. But
maybe I can't start with, I'm off duty. There's a weapon in the car.
Is that not proper English for you? Is
that it the depends. Order? If you're a black man, you go, there's a weapon in the car. That's as far as it gets. You don't get to say, I'm off duty.
As we all saw with that freaking.
I think you should just start with, I'm a cop. And that's it.
I wish there was some sort of like
just yell that as they're walking up to the car, and then they just turn around and get back in theirs and leave. All right, we're leaving.
All right, Mr. Lee. Like, oh, wait, what? Hey, no.
I feel like there should be a universal thing, right? Like I should be playing Bad Boys. Like, hey, wait a second. You like that song? I like that song. You work for us.
No, it should be a song that's like you guys all play. Like almost like a slow jam that when they walk up to the car, oh, he's playing that. Okay, we're good. Like
I wish there was something else, like a baka. All right, move on.
Oh, this is like one of those, like a call signal.
Yeah. What's that sound? It's a dying giraffe. Oh, he's a cop.
Yeah. Just do that.
Good luck keeping that off TikTok. Everyone will be knowing it. False flags everywhere. So what was your best day / worst day as a cop or a correctional office? Tell us the crazy stories. I want to hear
them. You see a lot of bad stuff, being a cop, right? You go to a lot of like bad calls, and
I imagine you've seen a lot of dead bodies, right?
I've seen a few, yeah. The best days are when someone like thanks you for your service and without it being provoked. Someone will like go out of their way to like, oh, buy you a coffee or do something like that. It kind of recharges your batteries. So those are the best days for me. It's probably happened a handful of times throughout my career. It happened once while I was in the military, but it was after 9/11. Before 9/11, it was just like, oh,
Nobody ever did it. Yeah.
nobody cared. The worst thing that I saw, it's just kind of heartbreaking. We go to this call. It was a gas leak, and then the fire department's already there. And then we go to the fireman, and we're like, "Hey, we got a call from ex-wife saying like this guy might be suicidal." And so they just like take off. They were like, "All right, well, we're gonna go like 2 miles back. Let me know when you're done." So we go through the house, and then long story short, the guy he put a hose to the gas line, and then he put the hose to a mask and just drank it up. So
Jesus.
come to find out, he had a special needs daughter that passed away like the week before. She was probably in her like early 20s. So like you could see like pictures of her throughout the house, and then after she passed away, that was it. He didn't want to be alive anymore. So that was pretty sad.
That's pretty sad.
That's kind of like, yeah, I understand. Like I listened to some of these episodes and same thing.
I mean, like it's sadder even now when I think about it, because my daughter's going through some shit, and just to think like what would happen. I don't know if I would want to be here either. Just
dude,
you're thinking of you're thinking of
honest to God, yeah. Johnny, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to have a second kid, because if anything happened to this kid, I would totally kill myself. Like,
wait a second. So you had the second one to replace the first one?
No, I'm just saying, like, if something happened to her,
I want to clarify it.
I would just like opt out of life, like unsubscribe. I'm not interested in living anymore. But I can't do that now. You have to forge forward. I know that's weird, but that was honestly one of the motivations, because as a parent, you're like, I live in terror of something, bad happening to your children. It's just, keeps you up at night. And I
wasn't saying that listening to the show would make me commit suicide. Listening to the show, it makes me feel like I'm listening to retarded children. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, this show only makes me look better. I mean, my buddy's like, "You're really good on that show." Oh, thanks. China's a cop.
Both statements are pretty bad. I just don't know which one's worse. I don't know.
Have you ever seen like a super like gross, disgusting crime scene, like blood everywhere and everything? I'm such a sucker for gore.
So, there was a dead body call, and it was in a trailer, like RV type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the coroner's office came by, and there was like, it didn't seem like there was any foul play, so they were like, all right, go ahead and what do you call it, take the body out, and
usually funeral in Missouri, funeral homes usually do that. I guess if you don't have anyone around to call the funeral home, somebody's okay. Got it.
So it's summertime. The body's probably been there about 2 weeks. The coroner and the both coroners go in, and they come out. It looked like a scene of like Men in Black, where they're just covered in slime because the body just blew up.
The skin will slide off. Tissue gas.
There's no smell like that. It's just so putrid. I smelled it like a few times when I was deployed overseas, and it's so fucking disgusting. I mean, it once you smell it, and ugh. But yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm like, I think you have a shoulder on your shirt.
You were in Kuwait, right?
I was in Bosnia.
Well, that's just how they smell there. But
oh.
Clip and edit that one.
No, just leave it in.
Leave it.
And then
Leave it. Leave it.
I want to
Leave
see
it.
if our Bosnian listeners are going to be offended.
Oh, they know what dead people smell like.
I haven't been around a lot of dead bodies, but for my time in funeral service, so there was, a few bodies that were rank as fuck. But then we took a trip one time to the city morgue, and they had a kid on the autopsy table. And I say kid because like this guy must have been like 17 years old that had been shot dead, and like they had just finished with the autopsy. And I remember, and he was so fresh, and I was looking at this kid and I'm like, I feel like he could just sit up at any moment. Like that's how alive he looked, and it was just bizarre.
Have you been part of there when they like cut the top of the skull and they fold the skin
I've done
back?
I've done it.
That's the craziest thing to me. Like putting on a Barbie outfit or something like that,
Yeah. I had so we had the and this is gonna sound terrible, just like what I just said with my daughter, but this is gonna sound terrible, but the coolest thing that I ever experienced, because the reason why I started studying funeral service was because I think the human body is absolutely fascinating. And all throughout you get a lot of old people, and they're the bodies that are been autopsied and to shit, and like you can't really like discern anything. And there was a probably early 20s guy who died in a car accident, and again like the freshest freaking thing. And we were doing the embalming, and you have to you basically get to take them apart to do certain things. And I had my hands inside of his chest cavity, and I could feel his lungs like compress, like as I'm sliding my fingers down. You can feel the little alveoli, the air sacs like compress as you're running your fingers down, and it was just fucking insane. The human body is bonkers.
I found my neighbor after she shot herself in the head.
Oh my god.
It's not as gruesome as you'd think. But then she did use a 22, so maybe.
I was gonna say caliber makes a difference.
She was laying in her kitchen, and then no blood. It was plasma. It was all like, or brain fluid or whatever, is just running down the floor past her feet. And there's like one spot of blood on the wall. I was expecting to see, like, in the movies, a big old all over, but no
exit wound, probably.
Not at all. But I'm sure that 22 sure scrambled her brain.
Yeah.
I was on a call where a dude killed himself. It was the sister who called us, and then she opened the door, and then we opened the door, and he's laying on the couch with a gun in his hand. And he's breathing, and he's got pills scattered everywhere. And
good God.
I pulled my gun out. I'm like, put the gun on the ground, step away from the gun, that type of thing. He just kept breathing and breathing, and they're like, all right, let's go ahead and back off. And then we called our SWAT, and they walked in, and they're like, all right, he's shot in the head. And you couldn't tell from where we were at. Once they moved the body, he stopped breathing. But for a good, I would say, hour after he shot himself, like, he was still breathing, just sitting there. But once they moved the body, that was it.
It's that low caliber, man. If you're going to do it big.
50 cal? You saying 50 cal?
Yeah. Just top of the head, gone.
Take the head off.
Now, I have seen this. There was one guy, he's a frequent flyer in the jail, actually. He tried to kill himself with a shotgun, and he like blew half of his face off.
Ah!
And like what grew back, he looks like a Klingon, just his head is huge now. But man, I don't know what would go through my brain besides the bullet. Just if you try to kill yourself and you didn't succeed,
you suck at life.
You suck at life.
Yeah,
you suck at life.
it really is.
You suck at death. I mean,
yeah, you suck at taking life. Oh my God.
You just aim properly. It's not.
And now he's in jail for trying to kill himself.
You're right. He probably flinched.
He didn't want to do it. Right when
you got to be smooth on that trigger. Like,
remember,
you ever shoot a gun, Laura?
You guys ever see the show The Preacher?
butt
I tried
face?
to watch the first
Butt
episode.
face? Yeah, butt face. Or tries to shoot
Face.
himself.
Or it was ass face. Arse
Ass
face,
ass
actually.
face.
Ass
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
Yeah, he looked like an asshole.
Yeah, he ended up looking like an asshole. He ended up like the shotgun didn't kill him. Yeah. Yep. Next question. Yeah.
Okay, this is the last question that I have.
What?
Yeah. So you work in a jail.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Epstein. There's no way that he killed himself, right? You know all the story about like, how he was found and there wasn't a camera, nobody was on duty.
Wait a second.
Wait,
and
before
then-
he answers,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
thinks he killed himself?
I do.
I do. Yeah.
I don't.
I
I
do
do.
not.
I think he
I
killed
do not
himself,
think he
yeah.
killed himself. Johnny, give us your rationale.
Well, I don't know anything about the autopsy report. I will say that cameras go down all the time. I mean, it's a big
Conveniently.
working machine that it just breaks down. Like our jail was built in the late 80s. I mean, doors stop working sometimes. Sometimes you have to go the long ways. Cameras go down all the time. I mean, it happens. It's very inconvenient, for that Epstein camera to be off. But he was on suicide watch before, but prior to him killing himself, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Why was he on suicide watch? Because he was trying to hurt himself. Like, I really think, because the bodies that I've seen in the jail, they kill themselves pretty quickly. Like if they're determined, then that's it. Nothing that you can do is going to stop that. You'd have to check the room every 5 minutes, and even if that, like 5 minutes is plenty of time for someone to hang themselves. So I don't know all the details about that, but just in my experience, I mean, it's happened so quickly before that. People kill themselves all the time, and he was already designated or deemed a danger to himself prior to that. He had already been on suicide watch before, and I think for most departments, you got to do like a 15-minute check. I mean, 15 minutes without air in your body, blood to your brain, you're gonna be gone.
I'm just
I
gonna
think he killed himself. Just my personal.
I'm just gonna read some stuff off Wiki, okay?
Okay.
All right. When Epstein was placed in the security housing unit, jail informed the Justice Department that he would have a cellmate and that a guard would look into the cell every 30 minutes. These procedures were not followed on the night he died. On August 9th, Epstein's cellmate was transferred. No replacement was brought in. That doesn't sound super unusual. What do you think?
No, I mean, it happens. People leave all the time, and it takes a little while to get somebody back in there.
Okay. CCTV footage shows the two guards failed to perform the required institutional count at 10 p.m.
Okay.
Does that sound like something fishy?
Not
on my watch.
Yeah, I mean, has that happened before? Like, sure. Like when I started, counts were not. People didn't check up on you, doing your count. But that was when I first started. It was, early 2000s. So there was still that bad boys reputation. Like in our previous jail, before we got this one, inmates used to talk about the elevator rides and what would happen if, like, let's say an inmate gassed somebody, like threw piss or shit on them. Well, like later on that night, he would go for an elevator ride. They would just take him on the elevator where there were no cameras at the time, beat the shit out of him, and just put him back in. And it used to happen all the time, apparently. But that was before my time. As far as accounts, I mean, it's going to be on those officers. The worst thing is like when it's happened on like my floor. First thing I do is I open up my logbook. I'm like, dude, what time did I do count? All right, I'm good. Like I just don't want to get fired for for someone killing themselves and me not checking up on them type of thing. But it happens with his case. I feel like it's like more high profile, so they really should have been on the ball, right?
Right.
But
Well, I'm not done yet. So I
okay.
got more to say about the thing. So he was not checked on every 30 minutes. The 2 guards assigned to check his cell overnight fell asleep at their desk for about 3 hours and later falsified related records. 2 cameras in front of Epstein's cell malfunctioned that night. And then there's this other camera that people just say, oh, it's unusable, but we don't know what the hell it is. What does that sound like to you?
Well, I will say hypothetically that when I first started, and like let's say I was solo all day, 12-hour shift. Sometimes because you have to call somebody else to watch the booth while you do your checks, and it's just kind of a hassle. Or if you're super lazy that day, like I watched all 3 Lord of the Rings like in one shift one time.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Who hasn't done that shit? I mean,
so them falling asleep, I've seen that happen. I wouldn't recommend that if you're by yourself, but it's just both of them fell asleep together. They were cuddling. Like I don't know.
3 hours.
Found them spooning.
Yeah, for 3 hours. I mean,
and then they lied about it, which I mean, who wouldn't? You know, you're not going to say I was asleep for 3 hours.
Yeah,
but you would think a guy like Epstein would have like somebody watching him 24/7 and making sure the cameras work
for the high profile
it's
stuff.
Epstein.
Yeah, for us, when we have high profile people come in, it's constant checks. It's constant, like they're going to be in a place where we can get to them quickly, like a closer cell type of thing, or maybe a cell with a camera. Like when we had the Bay East Area rapist, I think that's what his nickname was. But when he was here at our jail, like it was constant. You know, we don't want to do anything to fuck up the prosecution, you know, or delay it or anything like that. So yeah, we were on the ball for sure. And I feel like they should have been with Epstein, but can't speak on that. So if he didn't kill himself, then other officers are involved, right? And
at least complicit. Complicit.
All right. Sure. So they're gonna. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have access to the autopsy stuff, but I've also seen where people are in a cell by themselves, they kill themselves, but it then looks like a struggle, right? Because they're
well, yeah. If you're
maybe
yourself.
if there's a change of heart or something like that. Then I've seen ones where there's no damage to the body whatsoever. So yeah, there's not a set rules when they kill themselves. It's different all the time. So I'm not sure. Okay. But yeah. So I don't know how that place is run. I know in my jail, like it would take a little bit of effort to kill somebody, you know, just to hang them and all that stuff. So
last thing that's fishy. Prison personnel also failed to photograph Epstein's body as it was found. So they didn't take the pictures of the crime scene, I guess. The scene.
Yeah.
Is it a crime scene if somebody commits some suicide?
That's how we treat it, at least for us. What will happen? Let's say somebody hangs himself in their cell. We'd find them. We put them on the ground, then immediately conduct CPR, put the defib out, and do our best. And then when we finally call it, like let's say we try CPR for 15, 20 minutes and nothing happens, or fire comes along and says, all right, the guy's gone. Then we stop everything, leave it where it is. And then that's when we call CSI to come get their pictures. We start the interview process. We call homicide detectives. And that's how we treat it until they determine it's not a homicide anymore. But
interesting. You're just putting me further on the Epstein definitely didn't kill himself train.
He killed himself.
Why do you think he killed himself, Lafayette?
Because he's going to go to jail for life. He can't have that lifestyle he had before. Does he want to go to jail for life and live in a prison, or does he want the easy way out?
Oh, I'm not saying that he didn't have a motive to kill himself. I get that. I just feel like there's just too many things that didn't add up.
Bed sheet around the neck. Plenty of stuff for a plea bargain. Plenty of stuff. Even if he knew so many people.
He would have.
Well, that's the thing. I think I would have been scared too. Like, yeah, that he knew celebrities' names, but I'm sure there's some like mafioso type of people that he knew too that visited the island.
That he
Like,
didn't want to
Totally.
rat out. Yeah.
yeah, so
but
like,
why would you not want to rat him out if he was either kill yourself or rat him out?
well, because the alternative, I mean, because you're going to be going to prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
The influences that other like drug people or cr- crime lords or whatever have in prison, I mean, it's outstanding. Like their reach, like for example, like in the California penal system, the most powerful people like in the state are in prison, and
Mm-hmm.
they're the shot callers. They can put a flag on you and green light you for anyone to kill you, and whoever gets that bounty, gets rewarded heavily. So for a person who's serving double, triple life, it's nothing to get another life sentence for killing that person, especially if it gets you in good with the gang. So, I mean, his life was in danger.
Mm-hmm.
So plea bargains, I mean, he probably didn't have to do as much time, but to go to trial and to fight that, and for all the dirt to come out, especially the dirt of like powerful people, I would have killed myself too.
How come his girlfriend didn't kill herself? She must know the same information. She must
Giselle.
know as many people as he did. And my question is not if he killed himself, is why hasn't anything been done? There must have been something they got from his house, from the island, some sort of information that would put somebody behind bars, but nobody's answered for anything, for any of it.
Wait, we're gonna put him who behind bars for what?
For trafficking, you dummy.
Yeah, for
No, I
human
know, but
trafficking.
that's what Giselle is going to, and that's why he went to jail. I'm saying who
So
else?
only one person is going. So nobody's going for sex with a minor. Nobody's going for sex trafficking. So he's the only one, or she's the only one. There's more than just two people involved with this.
Yeah, there were
Absolutely.
people there that were taking part.
No, I
in
get
these
it, but
girls.
you can't just release that information. You know what I mean?
Why?
So they can't just take that information and run with it because there's no additional proof besides what maybe some books he kept.
Or the girls themselves.
But
Well,
they're
then
afraid
They're
to
not
speak out.
dead.
yeah, if the
Most of them
girls
most of them-
testified, then
yeah.
we're it's a difficult thing to prove, especially with the time that's elapsed. With a typical rape,
Yeah.
you're gonna go to a rape clinic, you're gonna get DNA swabs and whatnot. I mean, it's possible to still convict people for it. I mean, Bill Cosby got a little jail time for it, but so how do you build that case? Like the people versus 10,000 people,
I'm not an attorney. Don't turn this on me.
right? I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's just it would be a separate case than the whole Epstein thing in general. Like, I think it's going to be one step at a time. So, if they can find some proof, let's say the girl said, "Oh, all right, this celebrity and this celebrity, we had sex multiple times. I was only 15 at the time." All right, so then they can try and build a case on that, but it's all in the proof, right? I mean, you got to find a little evidence to put the girl there at
And
at
that's the
the
really
time.
hard thing about rape, right? Like that's hard to prove.
I think the only celebrity, if you couldn't call him a celebrity, has anything, if remotely done to them, was Prince Andrew.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. Everyone else has gotten away scot-free.
Well, Prince Andrew got more of a. He didn't go to jail or anything. He just got
No.
everything stripped.
No.
They
He got
just
canceled.
ousted
He got
him.
canceled
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right, but that's it. I mean, even the Royals try to cover it up, or they kind of kept him indoors. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Because think about all the pictures out there of Epstein with his little parties with Trump, Clinton,
Yeah.
even
Johnny,
Bill Gates is like, I've been to the island like 7 times. Oh yeah, what'd you do there, Bill?
cancer research. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I mean. So, and then what do you do with that information? Because they have pictures, So
Yeah,
that's,
I think it
that's all
would be
you
a
got.
nightmare to move forth and try and put it to trial, to submit for
Oh, Jeffrey took
warrants
care of
and
that for us.
yeah. So, I mean, the ringleader, took his own life,
Took his
right,
own
Laura?
life because he was going down.
Because he was going down.
Conveniently closes the whole
Going
thing.
down.
Yeah.
And now I'm going down the rabbit hole. I'm looking at the wiki page and the pictures from his autopsy, man. I mean, I don't know what a sheet does to you, but that
Hey,
looks
the
a lot
coroner
different than
said-
a sheet.
The coroner said the bed sheet hung from the top bunk or whatever, and that's how he killed himself.
I saw one guy kill himself. He tied some pants around his neck, and then he with one leg, and then the other leg he tied into the door, and then he just got on his knees and just leaned forward.
Lean forward.
Yeah.
They said the same thing. That's what Jeffrey did. He just got on his knees and yanked his head forward with a bed sheet tied to the top bunk.
Yeah. I think he killed himself. I think
he killed himself. Yeah, I think he killed himself out of, like I said, it's just, I don't want to go to fucking jail for the rest of my life. And all the information I have, if I let that shit out, oh, fuck me, I'm dead anyway.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as Hillary finds out what Bill did, I'm fucked.
I mean, I don't know who did it. I just think somebody did it.
Yeah, Jeffrey. We've been through this. What?
No, I'm on me and Carlos. The podcast is divided.
Carlos has been quiet. I think he's
50% of us know the truth.
Mind change. Yeah, 50% know the truth.
He did not kill himself.
Speaking of which, Lafayette, you have that thing on the
That's right, I do.
The freaking O.J. Simpson. Like 2 out of 3 of us believe O.J. Simpson believe that O.J. is innocent.
1,000% O.J. did it.
O.J.
Do you know what I'm talking about? On one of the little commercials that you do in the interim. It's like a super fast forward.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
The DPA?
That's right. It's the DPA. Yes, the DPA.
Should have gotten the DPA involved with the Epstein trial.
3 out of 4 of us believe that he did it. So there's
DPA
that.
Who is the one that didn't? Or did you just make that up?
No, there's the one that doesn't.
Who?
I can't say. Oh, that's all you had to know. We'll take a commercial break here on Nerds Talking Podcast. Hello, Tom here from the DPA. Letting you know that we've started a criminal investigation division. That's right, the DPA is here for you. You wonder how? Well, have you ever been assaulted, robbed at gunpoint, murdered, raped, scammed for every dollar you have? The DPA is here to help. Did you happen to get a dick pic of this criminal? Well, we're here to help. At the DPA, the dickpicanalysis.com group, we can find out who this criminal was, their age, their sex, their race, their religion, where they're located at this moment, and how you can lock them up. That's right, upload the criminal's dick pic and we'll know where he's at with an 8% accuracy. That's right, 8% accuracy to catch this criminal. You've heard of DNA analysis and going back 30 plus years to convict someone. Well, this is all new technology. The DPA dickpicanalysis.com group now catches criminals. Just upload your dick pic, not your own. You don't want to be guilty, but the criminals, and we'll do the rest of the work. The DPA, here for you anytime.
The DPA is not responsible for wrong convictions. We've only used this analysis on our own junks, and 3 out of 5 of us are now on parole. So clearly it works. Just not sure which way. If you've taken a picture of a criminal's junk, we are impressed. Also, 2 of us think OJ is innocent. The DPA, dickpicanalysis.com. Not a real website. Nerds Talking Podcast. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. Remember to rate, subscribe, review, turn on notifications, tell your friends every Friday new episodes of Nerds Talking the Podcast. I'm here with Laura, Carlos, Johnny, and I'm Lafayette. Well, we asked Johnny a slew of questions, and he is out. He's like, I don't want to talk
he just
anymore.
Walked away.
I'm done.
Walked away. He had to go check on Epstein. And we covered reparations and what woke is. And now we get into a review from Carlos, because, well, Carlos is the only one that saw this movie. Cocaine Bear, which came out in theaters probably about 40 days ago, maybe a month. I don't know. It's already out on streaming, on demand. You can catch it.
Because nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah. So, Carlos, your review, since you're running solo act, take your time. Give us your best review. Cocaine Bear, now available for streaming.
Cocaine Bear, I think if I would have seen it, but this would have came out when I was an adolescent, like in maybe between 15 to 25.
Totally.
I would have thought this is so funny. It's gory and funny, but no, I thought it was just all right, I guess. I'm not gonna say it was stupid. It was just all right. Just the fact that they ran and made a movie, a full-length movie out of 2 parts of a story. The man landed in a driveway and a bear ate cocaine, but nothing happened. He just died. The vet found a block of cocaine in this bear's stomach, like $7 million worth of cocaine in his stomach. That's it. But they made a full-length movie of it, of some bear that loses its mind, is addicted to coke, wants coke. When it runs out of coke, wants more coke. The bear cubs get addicted to coke because they found in a duffel bag is rolling around. They look like those little white powdered donuts when they're done. Yeah, so they're addicted to Coke. So I got 3 bears addicted to Coke. Wow, it was all right. I mean, I've known people who do Coke. They don't become addicted like these bears did. I don't know
Different
how
biology, Carlos.
In a couple years, we're gonna have to have a Coke episode. Once I retire,
you're gonna try it.
Everyone's gonna do it, and then we're gonna
Johnny's
see how
gonna be
it
doing
goes.
bumps on the show when he retires. But yeah,
I
Elizabeth Banks directed it. I don't think she should be directing movies. She made a big stink about Charlie's Angels that she directed, and I think she tried to blame men for not seeing the movie, for not going out to
which
see the movie.
Charlie's
Yeah.
Angels?
With the Charlie's Angels
Angels.
one
With,
or the Ghostbusters one?
with
Which
Kurt-
one was
No,
the
no.
Kristen-
She didn't direct Ghostbusters.
No.
She
Which
directed
movie was it that was blamed that men didn't go see it?
Charlie's Angels.
It was
She
Charlie's
said
Angels.
men did not go see
Yeah.
Charlie's Angels.
It's like that movie recently, the movie about the gay guys.
Oh,
They
yeah.
blamed the straights
part
for
of-
not going to see it. The straights.
The
You mean like
straights to blame.
98% of us. The straights.
But like as far as Charlie's Angels goes, I remember I think I was talking to Lafayette. I'm like, has Charlie's Angels come out yet? He goes, yeah, it's already been out. And I didn't even know it was out. They spent like no advertising on this movie, so I didn't even know. I was kind
I
of
didn't
waiting
even
for
know
it.
they made a new one. I'm looking on
Yeah.
IMDb. I'm
With
like,
You
the-
shit.
didn't know? It starred Kirsten
Yeah.
Stewart.
That's it, Kristen
News
Stewart.
to me.
I
I had
forgot
no
who else
idea.
was in it, but she was the main star of the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I wanted to go
Um,
see it because I
yeah.
wanted to compare it to the Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore. Who was the other one? Michelle. No.
Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu, yeah.
Yeah, but I did end up seeing it. But come on, don't blame people for your failures.
You didn't pay for that shit though.
Yeah, of course not.
So what was your what
I
was your
paid
rating
for it
on
as much as I did Cocaine Bear.
what's your rating on Cocaine Bear?
This is a 2.5 at best.
Wow.
I think
It's got
that's
some
generous.
moments. It's got some moments. And there's a character in it, like the park ranger, comes off as a bitch
Margot
right away.
Martindale.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I love Margot.
I hope this bitch
Martindale.
dies, and she dies in a kind of horrible way.
That's when I stopped watching.
Satisfying way. But yeah. See it. It kills time. Don't run to go see it.
I watched half of it.
Do a bump before you see it if you want to enjoy
yeah,
it.
maybe that'll make it way more entertaining. I watched half of it. Margot Martindale, it's the park ranger. I love her. I think she's hilarious and really fun to watch. And so as soon as she died, I'm like, I'm out. I'm done with this movie. I feel like it should have been an SNL skit, not an hour and a half long
Right.
movie.
But there's a part of the movie where I'm like, oh no, these little children would have been so fucked up. They put the knife in the Coke,
Yes.
and they both took basically spoonfuls of Coke in their mouth.
And I was like, this
Even
is
though-
fucked up, man.
Even
I
though they
don't-
spit it out, what's left in their mouth is gonna jack them up. But they were fine. They were totally fine. So obviously it was shit Coke. It was cut with maybe baking soda, I'm guessing.
Baby powder.
It wasn't very good. And they never really explained why the guy was throwing the Coke out of the plane. They just showed him throwing at the beginning, throwing it out of the plane. And it showed him getting ready to jump out of the plane, and he bumped his head on the door. So they're saying that's why his chute didn't open, or that's what they're going with. But the original guy was a DEA agent turned Coke dealer.
That's a way more interesting story.
Yeah, and he was trying to get rid of his load because they were waiting for him because they knew he was up to something, so they're waiting for him. So he's dumping his load. He tried to jump. His chute didn't open. He landed in somebody's driveway, and the body they showed in the movie of like they put him on the gurney, they zipped him up. I'm like, this guy's in perfect shape for a guy who just fell thousands of feet and hit
He
a
should be
driveway.
a splat on the
Right. They
sidewalk,
should have
and
been using a
his head
spatula
was perfectly
to get him
shaped.
off. Yeah, but no, it was Anyway, Cocaine Bear 2.5.
Any other movies you guys can
You do a
think of
bump, it's a 5.
that that they took very little facts to make a full length movie that you're like,
That's like-
really?
Any
Every
movie that says based on true
Yeah.
events or inspired by true events, anything like that, don't even. It could be anything. It was raining that day. Oh, it was raining, so it's based on true events.
Any
Or like
movies
the
any movies you can think of, anything.
I mean, the Fargo TV series, they start every season with based on true events, and they've totally made up everything that's happens in it. It's just one of those quirky things that they do.
Star Wars based on no. The only thing I can think of is that I don't know if you've heard of the movie The Strangers, the horror movie. It's pretty damn good. through like horror flicks.
Oh, Liv Tyler, right?
Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's based on
Liv
the
Taylor.
Manson murders,
Nope.
right?
Or like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, The Strangers, the director claims based on true events. Well, here's a true event. Somebody in his neighborhood was going door to door and asking for a certain person at the house. Like, oh no, he doesn't live here. And that was it. That was it. These people were knocking on doors to see if the house was empty so they could rob the house. But that was it. That was the event that was based on true event. Was just that.
On
Nobody got
Wiki,
killed.
On Wiki, the
Oh my God,
screenplay
here
was
we go.
inspired by 2 real-life events: the multiple Manson Tate murders, and then a series of break-ins called the Kebby Cabin murders. So
I don't know
the
about
Manson murders were inspired that screenplay,
I don't know.
according to Wiki. But no,
Well,
no. I feel like this is the second time I've
think-
given you evidence.
yeah, but this is straight from the director's mouth because I saw him on like Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. He was talking about it. I'm like, oh, I got to listen to what the true events were. I was interested, but all he said was somebody came knocking on the door and asked for so and so, and that was it.
No, that can't be it because he
Cool.
didn't write the movie. He's the director. Bloodsport's another one though,
You shut
based
your
on
mouth.
true events.
Oh yeah, man, it is, boy, 100% fact, 100%.
It's another one.
The
based
movie
on
is
true
still
events.
good, even though I know
It's all
the
bullshit.
real events. Yeah, that like he bought his his trophy and all that shit.
And what was funny part was a kid playing the young Jean-Claude wearing a San Francisco Giants hat and then a New York Giants t-shirt. Hey, asshole. You can't put them both together just because they're Giants. Settle down.
He
No,
just
I
likes
thought the
giant
casting was
things.
great because remember he had a super thick, like unrecognizable
Super,
accent.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the best. He was American. Okay.
Laura's like, what the fuck is Bloodsport? Look on her
Sorry.
face.
It's a
I'm
classic
reading
Jean-Claude.
things.
What's the other one?
Rambo.
Man. Rambo is based on true events.
Texas Chainsaw,
Texas
Psycho.
Chainsaw is actually based on true events. I mean, all
Psycho's
the
based
Conjuring
on true
movies.
events?
Psycho
No,
and
it's
Texas
not.
Chainsaw are based on the same thing.
They are. They're based on Ed Gein.
Oh,
whatever.
Psycho. I was thinking American Psycho. I'm like, that's
No,
based on
and-
a book.
and-
Yeah, American
then,
Psycho is based on my high school years.
Oh God, I hope not. Have you ever read American Psycho?
No,
Like I said, all the
Book is
Conjuring
terrifying.
movies, anything that has to do with it.
Best part of the
Open
monologue by
Water.
Huey Lewis.
Open Water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The
People
the
that were left
couple
behind. Yeah.
and apparently that the real story is that, like, they were left behind, they found their bodies, but then they created this whole thing of like they were eaten by sharks or whatever, and that didn't happen.
There's the Black Dahlia. You guys ever see that one?
Oh,
that's-
that
yeah,
movie
yeah, but
scared the
that's-
shit out of me.
Those are pretty true events, though. On the Black
Anything
Dahlia.
related to Black Dahlia makes my skin crawl. Like the way that woman was found. Oh my God. It's
How about the Zodiac Killer? The Zodiac. That's
I
a good
love that movie. That's a great movie.
That's
And
the one
there's
with the
Jake
Downey?
Gyllenhaal and Robert,
and Robert
Downey
Downey
Jr.
Jr.
yeah.
I can watch that movie all day, every day.
It is
That
a good movie.
Enthralls me.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China. No,
Hmm.
That was
True
based
events,
on true events.
yeah.
I'm sure there's
Facts.
trouble in Little China somewhere.
all the time.
So, but yeah, movies like that though, when they go, yeah, this is based on true event. Like even movies that are biopics, you're like, and then like
Weird Al.
the Queen movie. What is it? Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Like the band members liked it, but they're like, yeah, most of that shit's bullshit though. They're like,
Mhm.
it's good, it's enjoyable, it's a good movie, but they're like, most of it's just bullshit. So
I get pissed off when they do like historical dramas that are very serious and then they kind of like twist. I mean, I recognize that you can't represent everything, but then they twist it to make it like more inclusive. I don't like that.
like what? Give me an example.
I'm trying to think
Pearl
of the
Harbor?
name of the no.
Little Mermaid.
No.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of the name of the freaking movie. It was like Mr. Jones or something.
Oh yeah, Mr.
Uh,
Jones. That's a good one.
It's a
The
fantastic
hell's
movie.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a song by the Black Crows
Tom
or
Jones?
the
Oh.
Counting Crows. Mr. Jones.
Yeah, investigative journalist that goes into the Soviet Union. There is a female character played by that really hot girl, Vanessa Kirby, played by Vanessa Kirby. And as I was
Johnny's
watching the
looking her up.
movie,
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Check Pornhub first, Johnny.
I was watching the movie and I'm like, she is a fictional character. There is no way there was a woman this like well respected in the journalist community in the 1950s in Soviet Russia. And I looked it up afterwards. You better believe they made that shit up. And I was like, I don't like that because this is a serious period piece. You need to represent the times as they were, because if you're going to go back, if you're going to talk about how people are so persecuted and have been excluded from society, et cetera, which they have, you shouldn't be rewriting history to make it more inclusive. You should be telling the story as it was. You should be telling it warts and all.
There's a lot of movies like that where
they add someone for some reason.
Yeah, like just said they add or they subtract. Like you come to find out, 3 people did this in the movie. It's one person, or vice versa. Or you find out
story.
But you also find out that this person had family members, but he was a single child when he grew up. What? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then when you read the real story, like, oh, this is kind of real story sounds better.
It's always better. The truth is always much more interesting, but they have to streamline that kind of stuff for story. But true.
But Cocaine Bear is a great example of, oh, that sounds interesting, but what if? And then
a what if movie, right?
A what if movie. Like, what if this happened? It's
Starship Troopers, Starship Troopers, totally what if movie.
Untouchables. So much shit in that movie happens. You're like, none of that shit happened. Only thing that happened is Capone went to jail for tax evasion. Like that's what happened. There
was a shootout at Grand Central Station.
Yeah, but was there one like that where
there's bullets in the
baby and the carriage, Andy Garcia?
No, there was a real baby in that.
When Sean
too. Oh, it's a real baby.
When Sean Connery gets blown to bits in his house. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's sports movies like that too, like Rudy. None of that shit. Like,
whoa.
No, I love the movie.
American.
I love the movie. No, but sports movies are the worst when it comes to that shit. The worst. So
Jackie
Radio. Have you seen Radio with Cuba Gooding?
Yeah,
that one they stretched the truth where like Radio became a part of the team within like a season or something like that. Originally, like it took
that's the
3, 4, 5, 10 years or something like that before like he like became a part of the team. But yeah, that was great.
They had to give him reparations first.
Oh yeah. Water Boy, the Water Boy. He didn't make that team. There's no way.
I love that movie. I love Adam Sandler.
It was a classic.
Well, there we go. Cocaine Bear gets a 2.5. You learned a lot about Johnny and how he's a crooked, corrupt son of a
Epstein killer.
Epstein. No.
Don't you say that about Johnny. He's a fine, upstanding officer of the law.
Only Laura and Carlos believe somebody killed him. Johnny and I think he was innocent till proven suicide.
What? So, that makes no sense, but okay.
Oh, right. Well, I have big news.
Oh, shit.
On April 9th.
Oh, my God.
New Girl is leaving Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
They're leaving Netflix. They're going to Hulu and Peacock. So
get it in now, folks.
Get it in now. I mean, I have all the streaming platforms, but I'm not a fan of Hulu.
But what I don't like, is it going to be commercial free, or is
we got to pay for that?
Right,
well, I paid for Peacock, but sometimes it's like I also paid for Paramount.
But what level of Peacock do you pay for?
Though? Commercials.
What level of Paramount do you pay for? There's different levels.
I thought Peacock was free too.
$25 for the year.
No, Peacock's not free.
Peacock is not free. No.
Peacock only gives you like 2 episodes for free. Then you're like, haha, $5, fool.
Yeah, Peacock is also $25 for the full year. I'm like, all right, I'll take that.
And then $5, you get commercials. For like $8, you don't get commercials.
Well, that's true because I had Hulu for like 99 cents a month for a while, and it was with commercials.
Yeah, and the same with every streaming service. You want commercials? Pay like the extra $3 or $4. That's all.
I feel like Carlos, you might be getting ripped off because I have Peacock and I can get like all the episodes of The Office for free. I mean, I have to watch commercials, but
my question to you is:
no, I got Peacock.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you said you had to pay for it.
No,
25 bucks for the year.
You gotta pay.
I don't have to pay for Peacock.
Well,
You are using somebody's password.
No.
You just don't want to tell us.
No, who's
Was
your
that a
cable
question you asked him?
Who is your
You're
cable?
very
provider?
upset at getting ripped off for 25 bucks.
Who's your cable provider? Because it could be why you get Peacock for free.
Xfinity.
Boom.
That's why you get it for free. Yeah, because they're universal.
It recognizes your cable, your TV provider.
You have cable? Whoa. God, what a waste of money.
What a loser, right, Laura? What a loser.
Cable provides me with sports, and it gives the wife Hallmark and crime shows.
Don't you hate
I got all the crime shows
First
for
48,
free.
one of my favorites. I usually solve it in the first 5 minutes. I don't know why they don't call me. Call me right there you go.
No,
it's the husband. That's who it is.
Don't you hate that we got to pay for every channel when we want like 5 or 6 channels? I'm still waiting for the day when they go, look, this channel's cost this much. Do you want this 10 channels? Like, yeah, cool. Like, that's it. So
they're not gonna do it.
No, never, ever.
No,
because they have to pay.
All these apps like Hulu, or Netflix, and whatever. No, not Netflix, but like Peacock and Paramount and all these ABC, CBS channels.
Apple.
I would gladly pay 25 bucks a year for it because these are the only channels I want. It beats paying $100 a month.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Johnny, what were you going to say about France? I want to know about France's cable. Yeah. Other than I know they have porno on at night. What else is going on?
I haven't seen the porno, and I did see that when I was overseas in Bosnia. It was like Saturday night, and then on the Bosnian side there wasn't much, but when you walk across the bridge to the Croatian side, you can catch porn on TV.
Well, the streets were empty in Croatia on Saturday night.
I think it was between like 1 and 3, so like 2 hours of the good stuff. But in France, my cousin was telling me that some like billionaire bought out a cable company or started his cable company, something like that, and just made it like cheap for everybody. So I want to say it's like $40 for cable and internet. So
I fucking love France. They got good cable, good internet. They strike whenever they goddamn feel like it.
When they strike hard.
I know.
I
love the French. I love them.
The thing is, the cable companies have to pay every network, a small percentage. So like they have to pay Disney like $10 for every subscriber. Then they got to pay the Hallmark channel probably only gets like 30 cents. So on. It's like it adds up. So if you're a shitty channel like Newsmax, for instance, they don't actually get paid. In some instances, they pay them. Cable. Yeah. So, and that's why cable is so expensive, because they can turn around and be like, Fox can say, "Hey, we just picked up the NFL again, so we're gonna get to pay us like $1 more per subscriber." Blah blah blah. Either which way, cable sucks. Because I want a la carte, and if you want a la carte, Hulu's the best way to go. There you go, people.
Or just download everything illegally.
Well, because Hulu gives you everything that cable provides next day. If you want, if you TV shows, not sports, but TV shows.
Yeah, but isn't Hulu your cable provider?
Yeah, I stream through Hulu. Yep, I stream through Hulu. Yep. I do. I do stream through Hulu. Yeah.
Does anyone pay for YouTube?
For who? No, YouTube's free.
YouTube like Plus or whatever.
I've thought about it though with kids though.
Yeah, you mean YouTube Red or whatever.
Charlotte watches a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I was like, oh my god, there's so many fucking commercials.
Oh, and they go nuts when the commercial comes on. My daughter is the same damn way.
Yeah. Commercial.
Yeah, she can't wait 5 seconds for this damn skip.
That's what I tell her. I'm like, you need to learn how to accept it. It'll be back on in a minute. I don't know.
She should take advantage. I mean,
that's your older daughter,
bathroom breaks,
right? That's your older daughter.
Yeah, she's 2.5.
Yeah, because the new one is going to replace her. Train her correctly. Don't worry about that. All right, that's our show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. There's Talking the Podcast. Carlos, anything left?
Nope.
Johnny, you have no more. Believe me, we don't have more. Let's not bother. You've said it all. Enough. Your whole life's just on audio now.
What happened?
He's gone.
He's done.
He just left the podcast. He's like, oh fuck.
Well,
nope.
He got
all right. Well,
I got you. Don't worry.
I
got you. I got. No, I didn't get Epstein. I did. Whatever. All you people. Epstein's alive. Anyway, that's our show, everyone. This is an extra long episode. Enjoy. See you next time on Nerds Talking the Podcast.